Okay, I live in Frogs Creek in Sissonville. I want to voice my opinions about the hardships that my family's endured since the gas wells have been there. There's like a gas, or with a like a catch pond.
Pull the microphone down a little bit.
Okay, there's like a catch pond within a 3-minute walking distance from my well, and I went there when I seen they were covering it up. And I found this substance all lined around the pond, plus I got a sample of the water in it too. And the people I talked to said that they had never seen this before on one of the catch wells. And also our creek, there used to be numerous species of fish, crawdads. That's where my grandchildren played, and we had fishing contests and this, that, and another. My granddaughter is experiencing numerous medical problems now, and she's been the endocrinologist, and they can't find out what's wrong with her. She has these trembling, shaking. We have to haul in our water.
Finish up.
We have to haul in our water. The roads are horrible. It's costing us lots of money trying to keep our cars. I mean, there'd be like convoys of 20 huge rigs.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker is Molly Soffinet, and on deck is Paul Phillips.
What I've seen in Kanawha County is this. Over 50% of the wells visited by George Monk and myself in our well study have been in non-compliance with the regulations that API numbers must be in place at the well sites. This seems like a minor thing, but it's really necessary. And it is the law. It's necessary in case there's a spill to locate the well. Or the other thing, they've been in non-compliance with regulations requiring secondary containment around condensate tanks, which is necessary to prevent spills going into the waters of the state. 20% of the wells operated by one operator had exposed pit liner, indicating exposed pit waste. We had the soil of one well site tested by a lab and found that the arsenic level was 3 times greater than what the state has determined poses a danger to groundwater. This well site also tested high for lead. It is located 100 feet from a garden.
Thank you, ma'am.
Family.
Just finish up.
And it's wrong. More regulations are needed, and the regulations that are in place need to be enforced.
Thank you, ma'am. Paul Phillips is next, followed by Joe Miller.
Well, I'm not going to have time to be able to tell you about these 6 pages of complaints, but what I do have is blood work that shows heavy traces of hexavalent chromium-6 that go along with, the last speaker was here, lead, arsenic, cadmium, vanadium that you can only be exposed to if you work in a ore industry, because you have to breathe these chemicals. And the DEP allows them to pump thousands and millions of gallons of this into the freshwater, the creeks, fish kill off. The DEP regulates the DNR and will not allow them to even come and do a sample on the fish or do an investigation. Upon numerous complaints to the DEP, they will not enforce no regulation that is on the books. And the ones that I have confronted them with, they have since in 2010 changed them, so therefore they don't have to be in compliance because they changed the regulation to begin with. I cannot find a lab in West Virginia that you can have your water well tested.
Hold on, Mr. Miller. Let me just say, if any of you have any written materials and you want to give them to the clerk, we'll get copies of those to the subcommittee members.
I got permanent copies. I will supply.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Actually,
thank you, Mr. Phillips. Mr. Miller is next, followed by Phil Parlock, it looks like.
My name is Joe Miller. My family owns a tree farm in Preston County. We have so for about 150 years. My sons are the 6th generation to have been raised there. 2.5 years ago, the landmen showed up at our place and urged us to get in the game. Well, we had no idea really what the game was all about. And so we decided to do some due diligence so we could make the appropriate decision for our property and for our family. What we've quickly discovered was the total lack of regulation and oversight. I don't have time to list the things that are obvious and we're addressing in your bill here today, but I urge you that you give serious consideration to doing the things that need to be done to adequately regulate this. You're hearing the kinds of stories that people are talking about. Ultimately, I won't have any ability to control what goes on around 985 acres. That's going to be your job. But I thought I was going to be able to control it for my own family. We made a decision not to sign a lease. And now it appears that there is a provision in this bill that may compromise that or negate our ability to make that decision.
You can finish up.
Forced pooling may very well eliminate our chance to exercise our right to control what happens to our own property. I urge you to follow the Farm Bureau's recommendation. Take your time on that aspect of